Bro, here's why addictions are just coping mechanisms. So, bro, I learned this from my experience. I used to be addicted to porn and masturbation for 7 years. Used to be addicted to junk food for years, video games for years, social media. Used to scroll my phone for hours, stay up late. But what I learned, after 4 years of self-improvement, is really I was using porn and video games and junk food and social media and all these bad habits and addictions as coping mechanisms or escapes from my trauma, my childhood trauma. I used to get bullied as a child. I used to have childhood trauma growing up, in my home, right, and in like school. But basically, I was using these habits or addictions to cope. And the thing is, not just me, most young men do this. Like millions and millions of young men, we all do this, bro. We all do this, let's be honest. I have never in my life seen someone who, does any of these so-called addictions. There's no such thing as an addict. Honestly, I don't really like to use that word. Like, there's no such thing as an addict. You're not addicted. You're just escaping from pain. You're just using that as an escape from negative emotions or trauma or anxiety, boredom, depression. Basically, we use, and I'm speaking from personal experience, like I used to use junk food, porn, masturbation, social media, video games. We use all of these addictions for emotional regulation. That is the primary root cause. We use it for emotional regulation. We use it to temporarily regulate our emotions, but the thing is, this is a false form of emotional regulation and a very unhealthy form of emotional regulation. And I learned this with my porn addiction. If you don't know, maybe you don't know this about me, but I used to be addicted to porn for 7 years, right, and masturbation for 7 years. And I actually quit this year, 2026, very recently, right? And it's all because this year I actually started healing my trauma. Like I literally, bro, I tried everything. And what I did is I actually started healing my trauma, especially doing self-therapy, like reparenting my inner child, doing like shadow work, being self-aware, like having like self-love for myself. I talk a lot about that in my healing videos and in my trauma and addiction videos. But really, yeah, that's how I did it. And really what happened is my mind kind of like crossed out porn and masturbation as a coping mechanism, because it all came down to two things. I just, found healthy ways to regulate my emotions that actually heal me and heal my trauma. And the second thing, I read the book The Easy Peasy Way to Quit Porn. And what this book did is it crossed out porn and masturbation as a way to regulate my emotions. Basically, this destroys the brainwashing. Like really the two root causes for porn, in my experience, and masturbation are really two things, just emotional regulation and brainwashing. That's it. And what I did is, every time I got like an urge or wanted to relapse, I just took like very deep, long breaths. I just reminded myself that this gives me absolutely nothing, and I don't need porn. Like it's just pixels on a screen. And if I really wanted like to heal, right, I would just get in bed, hug my pillow, and basically do reparenting. So I would just imagine this ideal woman and this ideal man just parenting me and just giving me like ideal caring and unconditional love, because that is how to actually heal our inner child. Like really, we are coping with these addictions because we haven't healed our inner child. We haven't done the shadow work. We haven't accepted the dark side within us. That's another thing. We haven't been self-aware. Really, bro, there's a great quote by Dr. Gabor Mate, which is, don't ask why the addiction, ask why the pain. And I found that so deep, because really that's all it comes down to. Don't ask yourself, why am I addicted to porn, man? Why am I addicted to video games? Ask yourself, why the pain? Or what is the pain? Where is the pain? where is the deep trauma that I went through? What is the suffering? What is the pain? What am I actually getting from this addiction? Because what I found is, in my own personal experience with porn and masturbation, what porn and masturbation used to do to me is it used to make me feel this very false and honestly disgusting form of love and parenting. It kind of feels like, you know, this you know, very beautiful woman like hugging you, but then this woman turns into like a dragon that's eating you. Does that make sense? But really I was using porn and masturbation to get that out of it, to get love, unconditional love, but it's a very false sense of love. So what I did is I just imagined this ideal mother just giving my inner child unconditional love, you know, fulfilling every unmet need I used to have in my childhood. Because it's just life, this is just life. Like, of course we're gonna go through these. And this is a very healthy, deeply healing practice. This is called the ideal parent figure protocol. It's a very beautiful way to self-soothe and relax. You know, really the way I do this is I just get into bed, you know, put the covers, just get really tight and just hug my pillow and just imagine like this ideal mother and this ideal father just parenting me and caring for me. And it's so beautiful, man, and it's deeply healing my trauma. Like very deeply. Of course, meditation, journaling, doing yoga, breathing, like those things are amazing, but what we really need is we need to talk to that inner child and heal it, because I think that is really what causes our addictions. Trauma, that's the root cause of addictions. Another addiction is video games. Like, I used to use video games as a coping mechanism for my disgrace of a life, for my very boring and just disgusting life. I used to hate my life. So I used to use video games as an escape because I just hated my life. I didn't do anything. I didn't have any goals, didn't read anything. I used to scroll on social media, watch porn, you know, jack off. But in the video game, I'm like this hunter, has like all these beautiful women around him who are just pixels on a screen, right? Who's on like level 100, but in real life, I'm just a freaking loser. My serotonin is so low. I'm at the very low bottom of the social hierarchy. I'm just a loser in real life. And really, when I started self-improvement, when I started improving myself, I just naturally stopped playing. I just put the PlayStation in another room because I just didn't care. And me and my brother sold it for like $100 because I just don't care. It's a freaking coping mechanism. That's really it. That's it. And I know this might sound like a very depressing idea. Oh, I'm using it to cope with my life. But once you actually discover it, it's a very beautiful idea. It's a profound idea. When we discover that all addictions are just coping mechanisms, they are escapes from trauma, which leads to negative emotions, which leads to escaping through the addiction. Coping mechanism. Addiction is just a coping mechanism, all right? So yeah, I just wanted to give you this thing that I've learned in my journey on quitting all these addictions. And as always, bro, we're in this together, and we will make it.